are now set for our main bout. Felix, take us through our first bout. Ramon Marquez taking on John Rincon.
That's right, Miguel. It's a welterweight, a 4-rounder. Rincon is 5-0, and Marquez is 4-0. The interesting part of here is one is going to lose that 0. They're going to have one loss, so we'll see what happens tonight. Rincon, he's the southpaw, 23 years old, 5'11". Marquez is a little bigger than him. He's 6 feet. In regards to the age difference, well, they're both young. Rincon is 23 years old. His hometown is in Corpus Christi, Texas. But he last fought almost 2 years ago. But let's get this fight underway, and we start with our announcer, Miguel Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Michelob Ultra Arena here at Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, as Premier Boxing Champions presents an exciting night of boxing action. Once again, it is all brought to you by TGB Promotions and Fox Sports, sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. Our first bout will be 4 rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing first in the right corner wearing the black trunks. He weighed in at 146.6 pounds. His record stands undefeated, 4 victories, all 4 coming via knockout. Fighting on the Agua Prieta Mexico, presenting Ramon Marquez.
There's Ramon in the black trunks.
Into the blue corner wearing the blue with the white trim. He weighed in at 145.2 pounds. His record stands undefeated, 5 victories, including 2 by knockout. Fighting out of Corpus Christi, Texas, presenting John Rincon.
So John Rincon against Ramon Marquez. As we see here, the Marquez a little taller, about an inch. Interesting to see. Both of them, I think, will have ring rust. Almost 2 years since his last fight for Rincon. His last fight was March 7th. He won a unanimous decision against Orlando Collins. That was in Texas, so we'll see what Rincon has to offer tonight. And in regards to Marquez, well, his last fight was in Mexico, and he TKO'd Alejandro Aguilar in Mexico. He's 1-5 was Aguilar.
As we get started, this is a 4-round bout, Felix. So these guys, you know, in these type of fights, they got to work quick. There's no feeling out process. There's not a round that they can kind of take off to ease into the fight. They need to get going from the jump.
Yeah, and we showed, Rincon showed right there, a nice little left. It didn't connect, but I guess that's his game plan while he attacks here in the corner.
This is Marquez's first fight in the United States. All 4 of his victories have happened in Mexico. So he is getting a taste to the American audience now. Once again, we want to welcome all those watching live on our Premier Boxing Champions YouTube page. Once again, Thurman, Barrios, later tonight, Fox pay-per-view.
We haven't seen much from Rincon just yet. You said it's a 4-rounder, so they should start throwing right away as we see Rincon now throwing some lefts.
Yeah, Rincon's really trying to set up that overhand left. Marquez being cautious. He hasn't had a fight in his career go past the 2nd round in all 4 of his fights. So he has a difficult test ahead of him in Rincon as he goes to the body quickly.
They're both undefeated, so somebody's going to lose today. And I think you learn a lot from a boxer that's undefeated and wants to maintain that 0. That shows heart, that shows skill, so we'll see what happens tonight.
And credit to both guys, I mean, because you know they're still early on in their careers, and for both of them to be taking on a fight where both guys are undefeated, you got to give credit to them for accepting this type of a challenge.
Yeah, we have a few fights like that of undefeated fighters today, so a great night of boxing. We're just getting started here at the Michelob Arena.
Now you see Rincon trying to establish the jab. Beautiful uppercut as Rincon now was able to connect with the left cross, knocking Marquez back.
You heard him there. Rincon, a southpaw, looking to land with the left, of course.
There you see Rincon now. He really is trying to set up that left hand. Trying to find an opening.
Watch out with that right from Marquez. That's his knockout punch.
And now Rincon has Marquez pressed up against the corner. So far, Rincon's looked absolutely outstanding thus far, mixing up his shots, going to the body, and now he's trying, once again, that overhand left. Just missed, though.
See, I mean, Marquez is waiting too long to land that right.
That is the end of round number 1. And what was a very entertaining round and a good round for Rincon.
Definitely, he won that round. Marquez still hasn't unloaded. 18 years old. It might take a little while to get started. But in regards to that record to Marquez, I mean, 4-0, 4 knockouts, so he has some power unless he's been fighting, you know, guys that really can't take a punch.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's different levels of competition as we are both accustomed to, Felix. You know, you want to, first off, when you're making your pro debut, you want to, all right, let's start to get some rounds underneath our belt. And that's one thing Marquez hasn't done because he has been knocking out his guys, which is good. He's getting those victories, but now he's starting to take a little bit of a higher step up in class against a guy like Rincon. Now he has to adjust.
There's a pedigree in his corner, Rincon's corner. Selena Barrios is the older sister of Mario Barrios, so she's also 6-1 with 3 knockouts in her career, so good corner for Rincon to have.
Now Rincon once again establishing the jab early. I'd like to see what adjustments Marquez is able to make after that first round, which in my opinion went to Rincon.
I mean, that last name Marquez in boxing circles is well known. So let's see if he can honor his last name here.
Now left hook from Marquez as he's now trying to put the pressure on Rincon, making him fight off his back foot.
So far, Marquez has not adapted. So Rincon is hitting him with that left at will.
What would you like to see him do, Felix? What would you like to see Marquez do to make that adjustment as Rincon once again lands a straight left?
Well, he's protecting against that left, but he's not hitting back. So, you know, you're not going to win rounds that way. I don't think Rincon has hurt him just yet, but it could be coming if he just keeps this game plan. He has to throw that right, see what he has, see if he can tag him.
And that's one thing in these 4-round fights is even though you may not be hurting the guy, if you're the more aggressive guy, you're landing more shots, you're going to win the round.
Yeah. And, you know, you win 3 rounds, you win the fight. So he needs to show something real quick, this kid Marquez. He's young, but still, you know, he needs to do something, you know, to get the respect from Rincon. Yeah. You know what it is? He wants to land that right. He's just too slow for Rincon right now, so let's see.
And he's got to be careful trying to telegraph those shots because it makes it very easy for Rincon to counter. And he can fall right into that left hand.
He's not even moving to his right to try to take a little bit off the blows from Rincon, so Marquez, a rude awakening so far.
Overhand left again, connected for Rincon. Marquez looking to counter, but again, just a step too slow.
Yeah. Although there he showed a little fire. He needs to do much more.
Like you said, he's got to bring up the activity level. Rincon has won in that department so far.
The corner's telling him, you know, throw 2 lefts and you know, 2 left hooks, but he's not doing that. So the corner wants Marquez to open up Rincon a little bit, but he's not doing it just yet. Ooh, nice left there by Rincon.
Overhand left just missed for Rincon as round 2 comes to a close. And once again, Rincon in full control thus far.
So a great night of boxing. Miguel, of course. Barrios against Thurman. Then we have also Cavajada against Leo Santa Cruz. Great to see Santa Cruz back.
It is. I mean, he suffered that, you know, one of the biggest knockout losses
That was a vicious
of
uppercut,
2020. And that was one of the knockouts of the year in favor of Tank Davis. But a lot of people forget before that fight, Santa Cruz was giving Tank Davis all he could handle in that fight. He was coming forward. A lot of people felt he was winning the fight up until that 6th round. And
I think he was.
And he just got caught. And even Santa Cruz has talked about it leading up to this fight week. He was disappointed, but he got a little too over-aggressive. But now he's once again back in the mix against Keenan Carvajal later tonight.
Let's see what Santa Cruz has to offer. So there's so many names on this card that are going to give their all because they have a lot to prove. Thurman, Santa Cruz, Barrios. So here we go on 3rd round. So far we're thinking Rincon is winning it easily.
Yeah, Rincon has been in full control. I haven't seen Marquez really do enough to push Rincon back. And there you saw Rincon once again getting the better of the exchanges.
He's trying to, get him to the ropes and see what he can do there, but he's just, that right hand is not connecting it,
And another just took a straight left flush. And I really like what Rincon's doing. He's mixing up his shots well. I mean, just when Marquez is starting to get into a rhythm a little bit and see the left hand coming, the overhand left coming, he goes right back down to the body, and it really confuses Marquez as to where these shots are going to be coming at.
And Rincon is so smart. He's not staying near the ropes, staying in the center of the ring, just attacking. There we go. Finally, we get a little something from Marquez. It'd be not much, too late. We're already in the 3rd round here in the 4th round fight.
And this might be one of those types of fights where if you're Marquez, you may not be able to outbox a guy like Rincon. Rincon has so far been boxing circles around him. You may need to muck it up a little bit. You may need to use your weight, push him along the ropes, and try to trap him in a couple of corners, and really just make it a rough, ugly type of a fight. And that might be his recipe to win. But again, we're halfway through the fight, and Rincon is stacked up 2 rounds.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned, the first fight for Marquez. He's still young. Can he learn from a loss like this? It's a 4th round fight, maybe, but he needs to definitely start throwing more. And we're not seeing it from him. And the corner's telling him, start working the body, stop working the body, the left hook. He's just not able to execute.
And sometimes these younger guys, they're looking for the headshots, and they forget exactly like what his corner's telling them about the body. That's something that's never going to move if you're a fighter. And the fact that Marquez really hasn't targeted the body, that would have been one way to slow down a guy like Rincon.
Yeah, so that left is scoring at will, and he hasn't slowed him down because he hasn't worked the body. So there we go again. Now he's just hit him, throwing at will.
Yeah, Rincon really is just picking his shots and able to land whatever he wants in this bout. There's another quick right hook to the body, again by Rincon.
There we go. He thought he had him in the ropes for a little while, but Rincon, nice and slick, got out and back to the center of the ring.
Beautiful uppercut from Rincon as round 3 comes to an end.
So we have a great pay-per-view. Getting ready there are Brian Kenny, Joe Goosen. Lennox Lewis will probably be in a little later on. And it's going to be great. There's a little appetizer, right? Fox.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be on Fox, PBC on Fox. We have a headline by Abel Ramos against Luke Santamaria. Abel Ramos obviously was supposed to be on the pay-per-view portion of the card against Josecito Lopez, which would have been an outstanding fight. You talk about an action fight. That was one of those fights that was going to be that, but Josecito Lopez suffered an injury late in training camp, so Luke Santamaria stepped in for a late replacement bout. And he's got a tremendous opportunity ahead of him to defeat a guy like Abel Ramos. And then we also got Ryan Cowboy Carl against Omar Juarez in the opening bout of the Fox portion of our PBC fight night.
The Ramos brothers, I mean, they've made so much stride the last 2 years, I think. They're different boxers, so let's see what he has to offer. Let's see what they offer Ramos against Santamaria. That's going to be a good fight, and that's on Fox. So it looks like Marquez is just holding on. It looks like...
yeah, if you're Rincon, I mean, this has been... You've had this fight on cruise control. You've outboxed Marquez. You've really been able to come in and control the entire pace of this fight and have had Marquez chasing you from the opening bell. And there's another big right hook, and
now he got him with the right hook. No, he said it was a slip.
He said it was a slip.
Oh.
Marquez did bounce up very quickly.
Yeah. It looked like that right hand connected. So veteran referee said it was a slip. So let's see. I don't think what the corner's telling him to start hitting the body is going to matter last round here. So it's just going to be an experience here for Marquez. Now he knows how the elite boxers that are great prospects.
Exactly.
Fight.
There are levels to this game, and Rincon is certainly showing Marquez that. And there's another body shot, and
one was a low blow.
It was a little low on the belt line, and there you see, getting enough time to recover. Marquez ready to resume action, and there's another hook to the body. And Marquez now seems to be very animated and letting Rincon know, continue, let's go, let's keep going. But again, I think it's a little too late for him.
Yes. And again, all the credit for Rincon. He hasn't fought in almost 2 years. He did beat Orlando Collins in Texas. That was March 7th of 2020. So a great fight for Rincon here to get back started. He doesn't look like he has any ring rust.
No, he certainly doesn't. This has been a fight that he has been able to control from the get-go.
I mean, I think Marquez just wants this fight to finish here, regroup, and see what he has. He's young, 18 years old. But again, the power he displayed in his 4 fights, not showing it here tonight against Rincon.
Now Rincon just dancing around the ring. He knows he's got this one in the bag. He is content. He certainly did try to get Marquez out of there, but Marquez certainly a tough opponent. And just sometimes it's not in the cards for a knockout. And there's a beautiful straight left by Rincon again, as he just timed Marquez perfectly.
And he's 18 years old, Marquez, so he might get that manpower, when he's 21, 22,
exactly.
He continues. Yeah, so, it's not
another straight left right when the bell ends. And what a performance from John Rincon. He should stay undefeated. Once again, we still have to make it official with the judges, but a tremendous performance on his end, taking on a guy like Ramon Marquez, who was undefeated. All his victories were by knockout, and he really made easy work of him.
The southpaw Rincon showed it tonight, that left. I mean, he was hitting at will. Rincon will probably go to 6-0. And Marquez's first defeat, his first fight in the USA. All the other fights were in Mexico. Let's see what happens to Marquez in his career to come.
And now we take a look at some highlights. Felix, what did you see here from the fight? I mean, Rincon was just kind of timing up that left hand all night.
Yeah, so when he got him in the ropes, he was just hitting him at will with that left. There was nothing more Marquez could do. He tried throwing, but it was just so slow for Rincon in this fight that there was no way he could adapt. And when he tried throwing that right, Rincon was seeing it. And there's a good win for Rincon, who now should step up to bigger things. Marquez now has to regroup. I mean, and he was born in Arizona, but all his fights were in Mexico. But here in the USA, fights could be a little more difficult for him. Now we're ready for the decision, and we go to Miguel Flores.